How many times is Joe Biden going to have to show you exactly who he is and tell you exactly who he is before some of you all start to believe him? Joe Biden recently just put up this tweet where he basically said, no, he literally says, if he's elected, he's going to ban assault weapons, which we all know that means AR-15s and semi-automatic guns for the most part. And he also is going to ban high-capacity magazines, and he wants to pass a universal background check. This is the man telling you exactly what he wants to do. Yet and still, I have a lot of people who come on my page and tell me, oh, Joe Biden's not trying to ban guns. He's not trying to take anybody's guns. He just literally told you that. He said he wants to ban AR-15s. The AR-15 is the most popular rifle in this country. There are almost 15 to 20 million of them in this country.
So to gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo. You're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period.
It's exactly what it is. He's trying to take those guns away from you and take away your ability to own those firearms. This is also the same guy who said that the person who's going to be leading his gun control program, if he's elected, is Beto.
I'm going to guarantee you this is not last year's scene of this guy. You're going to take care of the gun problem with me. You're going to be the one that leads this effort. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you.
Beto, the same guy that said this.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47.
So I ask you, how in the world is it that I am fear-mongering or creating an idea about the fact that Joe Biden is going to come for your guns when he's literally telling it to you, and then in reverse is going to have somebody lead the program to do it who literally said, we're going to take your ARs and your AKs. He literally put his hand around this guy, he put his arm around this guy and literally said, this is going to be my guy for gun control. Come on, people. It's right there in front of our face. It's right there. I'm not making this up. I don't have to do any mental gymnastics or some deep intellectual thinking. He's telling you exactly what he wants to do. He also is telling you that in order to do it, he not only wants to ban it, he's not only saying he just wants to ban any further production of assault weapons or AR-15s. No, what he said is he's going to have a buyback, which is essentially a confiscation, or you're going to be forced to register your guns. If I have to pay pennies on the dollar on a gun that I paid full price for, that is a confiscation. Okay, sure. He says you can register your guns and keep the ones you already have. All right. But under the NFA, which he plans to put AR-15s under the NFA, you have to pay $200, a $200 tax for each of those guns that you own. I know a lot of people with multiple AR-15s. $200 over multiple times starts stacking up real quick. That gets expensive. So essentially what Joe is saying is if you have the money, then you can have an AR-15. But if you're working class or you're poor and you don't have the money to pay for the tax on the rifles that you have, guess what, bro? You're going to have to turn them into the government for pennies on the dollar.
Come on, man.
That's what he thinks about the working class and poor people. So not only is he anti-2A, he's an elitist anti-2A. So if you rich and you got money to pay for all the $200 tax stamps you want, you're fine with Joe. But let you be a working class person or somebody who's poor who can't afford to do that, you have to turn your guns in. Think about that for a minute. Not to mention, why are we talking about AR-15s? If the goal is to save lives, if the whole idea is, oh, these guns are so deadly and we need to save all the lives, why are we talking about a gun that is only responsible for less than 2% of gun deaths in this country? That should tell you something. That should tell you that this is a systematic effort to get to a different goal. And the goal is to take the guns. I know it sounds crazy and loopy and all this other stuff, but it is the truth. Think about it. If an AR-15 is responsible for less than 2% of gun deaths in this country, if we ban them, that means that our death rate with respect to firearms will not change. So the next 2-3 years, if nothing has changed from a gun violence standpoint, do you think they're just going to stop there and say, well, we already banned the assault weapon, so guess what we're going to do? Nothing else. God forbid another major shooting happens. What do you think they're going to do then? They're going to say, well, we did the assault weapon thing. It didn't work. So I guess now what we have to do is take the other guns too, because they're responsible for a vast majority of the gun deaths in this country. That's just logic. Anybody can see that coming a mile away. So people, like I said, when he tells you and shows you who he is, believe him. Believe him. The goal is registration to confiscation. That's why they're pushing a universal background check. That's why he's pushing a buyback program or a registration. Same thing with the universal background checks. You can't enforce a universal background check if you don't have a national database of guns in the country to check it again.
We should have regulations like background checks on every single gun.
Now, how would you enforce that?
Okay.
You know, as we've done in the
If
past.
we're going to suggest a solution, at least have something that's enforceable, right?
It is enforceable.
So how
we
would you
have
enforce
background
it? How
checks.
would you
Do them
enforce a
for
private
gun
background?
shows. Do them for regular.
No,
We have had discussions of bills. The NRA fights them. The Toomey Mansion bill. Support that bill. Would you support that bill?
After you answer my question.
How would
you enforce?
When did I lose control of this?
So what they're going to do is pass a universal background check. Something else will happen. They'll say, oh, that didn't work. Now we have to register the guns. We'll register the guns. That's not going to make a difference because the guns are still out there. Not even saying that if they weren't out there, that it wouldn't still happen because they still would. But they'll say, well, we registered them and we still have this violence. So guess what? Now we're going to have to take them. And the reason we know this is because it's happened in every other country that has done this. Hitler did the same thing during Nazi Germany. He made them register the guns. Then he backdoored and said, well, nothing changed. We still have violence and accidents and things of that nature. So guess what? Now we're going to have to come and take the guns. He did exactly that. Same thing happened in the UK and the same thing happened in Australia. Inevitably, they always come and take the guns. So it boggles my mind when people say, oh, nobody's trying to take the guns. They're not going to take the guns. We have the Second Amendment. Second Amendment don't mean shit to them. It's throwaway. It's you. You are the only person that's going to put the weight and the meat behind that constitutional amendment. You. They can't do it without you. And for all the people who are like, oh, well, you know, we had 8 years of Obama and he didn't have many guns. It's not because he didn't try to pass gun control laws. It's because he couldn't. Like there's a big difference between not trying to do something or trying to do something and couldn't. You can't give him credit for not trying to ban guns because he tried to ban it and couldn't do it because he didn't have the votes in Congress. Yet here we are in 2020 with a very possibility that the most anti-gun people that we know in our political structure could take the House and the Senate. And we could have Joe Biden as a president. So please, please, people, I'm begging you. He's shown you who he is. He's told you who he is. Believe him.
I'm sure the YouTube algorithm is going to do a phenomenal job of suppressing this message. So please share this video with as many people as you can so we can beat the algorithm and get our two-way message out to the masses. Also, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment and hit the bell and subscribe button. If you're looking for where to purchase your defund gun control shirts, hats, and drinkware, there's a link in the description section of this video.